Everyone, and happy Thursday. I am going to be taking you guys through a video now that just kind of bridges the gap between what you see in our weekly breakdown and the expectations that I might otherwise have that's maybe just not written between the lines. So hopefully by now you guys are nicely settled into our Brightspace course and you're feeling good about this class and where we're at thus far. Where you should be at this moment in time is obviously it's Thursday, so you will have completed the first 3 days of content. So we've got here, obviously on Monday, we did all of the initial introductory stuff, completing the About Me survey, as well as the e-learning orientation. You listened to my 30-minute lesson on welcoming you to our course, and you completed you watched the video and commented on the Get to Know You post in our activity feed. On day 2, I took you through a classroom tutorial as to how to navigate Brightspace. And obviously, if you've used Brightspace before, this would be helpful. But it's important to realize that every teacher has their own unique way of running a course. So it is important that you do listen to all of these lessons. Just consider it your lesson for the day. It's a replacement for being in the classroom. So these videos will obviously just orient you to the course and also the expectations that I have of you, right? And then, of course, completing your participation activities is essential. So you would have already completed 3 of those. The first one was the Get to Know You introductory survey, and then the second one was hyperlinked in here. Every day there's a participation activity linked in. So you would have completed 3 of those by now. You read the article on the tips for Halton District School Board e-learning students, and then you completed the discussion post that was assigned to you under classroom discussions. Okay. On Wednesday, you were responsible for completing and watching the TED Talk video on Drew Dudley's lollipop moments, and from that information, you completed the participation activity for day 3. And here we are on Thursday, and this is really about making sure that you are where you need to be. Obviously, getting ourselves oriented to this semester is different from any other year because of COVID. So we're going to have students that are totally on the ball and some students that are kind of trying to figure things out still. And by now, my hope is that we've had a slow enough start that we're all feeling more comfortable with where we should be. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time now just going through my expectations of the course and what I expect of you as a grade 12 student, but also what I expect of you as an e-learning student and a business student, okay? A lot of this stuff has been reinforced already throughout this week, but again, this will just be sort of a culmination of week 1. All right, so I've broken down everything today here in our weekly breakdown, and you can find all of this under content in our Brightspace shell. So that's where you'll find the course outline, as well as the course expectations for virtual school and the expectations for a business course. You will also find the how-tos of writing a business report. And then, the OWL citation guide has been linked in here as well. So I'm just going to spend a little bit of time talking about the expectations of our course. So like I said, the course outline can be found in Brightspace under content. So you're welcome to just go to that spot if that's more comfortable to you. But again, everything that we do in the course is hyperlinked in. I don't know why it's not loading, of course. There we go. Into our weekly breakdown. So you can sort of find the stuff that you need for this course in multiple different locations. Should make it a little bit easier for you, okay? So really, in any course, I don't really spend very much time going through the course outline because you can read. The most important things are obviously access to my email, which you should have because it's pinned at the top of our Brightspace activity feed. And then, if you're really just interested in what this course is going to cover, it's all really broken down for you here, as well as the different units that we cover. And then, of course, the breakdown of learning skills and assessment and evaluation. Again, all of this stuff is very straightforward. By grade 12, you guys know what the gist of this is. So just a reminder of that. We're still waiting on protocol for how we will be handling final performance tasks and final examinations. And that may look different between e-learning and then obviously what's happening in regular school. So hang tight with that. But we did have a final examination and a performance task in summer school, which I taught. So the expectation would be that that's going to be the same for us as well. Okay, so that's your course outline. Expectations of the course, I really went through this a lot on the first day. So I'm just going to really reiterate this quickly. when you are an e-learning student, you really have to take initiative for your own success. It's incredibly important that you are on top of your game when it comes to organization and time management. It's really easy to fall behind. So if you've got other courses, so say you're only doing this one e-learning course and you have your other courses in school right now or in the virtual school, it's really easy for you to prioritize other classes and assume that with e-learning you can just get it done on the weekends or at night. But trust me, that just doesn't happen. And then what ends up happening is, especially as a grade 12 student, you get behind on your e-learning course, and then you go to access what you need to do, and you really feel like you don't know where to even start. And the work piles up so quickly, and you just can't do it. And I've dealt with this enough now with students, and it is what it is. So, if you know that you are a procrastinator or time management and organization are not your fortes, then you really need to be honest with yourself going into the semester and say, okay, I need to really prioritize this every single day. I need to make sure that I'm getting these things done as though I were expected to get them done in a regular classroom with my teacher in front of me. Because I know if I let this go too long, then it's going to be a mess. And we are in a grade 12 course, university prep course. So my expectations are that you're not emailing me begging for extra time all the time. That would not look good on you. And frankly, obviously, that's not something that works in the real world. So my expectations of you are really to prioritize time management in this course and making sure that you are paying attention to deadlines. Now, I already mentioned this. In this course, every single Sunday at 8 p.m., you will be given an entire breakdown of the week ahead. So you can really map out your time in advance of the week. So there really is no excuse for you to be handing work in late. And then everything that you do that week, for the most part, and I do say that because it's not always the case, but for the most part, everything that is assigned to you that week is due the previous or the following Monday at 8 a.m. The reason I do this is just for consistency purposes. It just gives you time and flexibility throughout the week, but also it just is an easy way to remember when things are done. Again, though, you really always want to make sure and double check those weekly breakdowns and listen to our lessons. Keeping an agenda is really essential. Now, we are in a Google environment, or a Brightspace Google virtual environment. Sometimes it's harder to stay organized because of that. So it's really important that you do feel comfortable contacting me. And the best way that you can do that is through my email. I do have a 24-hour turnaround policy to reply to e-learning students by email. I try to. Of course, this is not the case over the weekend or when I'm home at night. Obviously, at that point, I'm prioritizing my family, but I will still really try to get back to you. So, all I ask is that it's professional communication and that, you're considering respectful communication with me as well. Okay. So there you go. That's my email address. It's right here. And then our Google Meet for the course link is going to be right here as well. And Google Meet we'll use periodically. If you ever wanted to meet with me and go over an assignment, this will be something that we could use. Okay. All right. Attendance is going to be checked every day in our e-learning classroom, and I can access that information. It's very easy to see if you've been logged in and how long you've logged in for. I've had students in the past who have said, oh, I've done all the work and I've spent hours on it, and I go into Brightspace and there's magical information for teachers that tell you exactly how long, you've spent on assignments and whatnot. So, it is one of those things. For the first 2 weeks of this course, your attendance is taken every day, and they're taken through the participation activities, which is why it's essential to complete the participation activities every single day. And then after the first 2 weeks, you have only one participation activity that you complete, and that's your attendance for the week. Now, that doesn't mean that I can't go in and see how active you are in the course, of course. And it is still expected that you are engaged in the course on a daily basis, just solely for the purpose of the fact that this is an academic grade 12 class and it moves very quickly. And you really can't leave all of the content to 1 or 2 days in the week if you want to achieve success. Having said that, there is a little bit of flexibility, of course, and that's one of the benefits of being an e-learning student. Okay. Now, throughout the course, there will be readings, lessons, activities, and you're expected to do all of those as well as take notes on all of those. So I always recommend that as you're working through your content, you have a document open where you're taking notes on all of the readings and all of the lessons. This is because you'll have unit tests and you'll have a final examination. And obviously, what I assess you from is from that information. And if you're trying to complete a unit test and you're trying to toggle between all of the different content that we've learned, and it's a lot of content because it is a grade 12 academic class, you are not going to be successful. So a lot of my e-learning students will create a document just for course notes, and they'll take notes as they go. Really, really important. I strongly recommend that you start doing this right out of the gate. And this is for all videos, all readings, all activities, and then of course, even these lessons that I put together. Don't just like skim through a lesson and be like, oh my gosh, she's talking for 30 minutes. Yeah, that's your lesson. So you have to listen to it and take notes. And it's really great practice for university and college. Okay, discussions are a major component of this course. The reason for that is twofold. We are in a virtual space, and the way that we create and collaborate and create a sense of community is through discussions. So I've made it a major component of our assessments, and every discussion that you have will also have a corresponding assessment and evaluation. So there'll be a rubric, and you will get a mark on that. And how you achieve success on discussion posts are obviously making sure that you are answering the questions with detail, thought, and connection to the course concepts that you've learned thus far, and that you are engaging in your community. So how you do that is I ask you always with every discussion post to ensure that you are commenting on at least 2 peer posts. So that would mean that you would do your post, and then you would go in, and then you would find other people's comments, and you would read them, and then you would answer their question. Every discussion post that I have you complete also includes a question that you have to ask of your classmates. So at the end of your writing, you're going to then ask a question, and then your classmates are going to answer that question. And then you are expected to go back through and then reply to your classmates that took time to answer your question. So it just really promotes that sense of community. And it's going to mean that once you're done a discussion post, you are going to have to go back and check and make sure that you've completed, your class engagement piece. And that's how you get your marks for your discussion posts. It's really easy marks. So it's something that you don't want to neglect, because those marks will add up very, very quickly. Discussion posts, I don't know off the top of my head, but they'll be worth somewhere in and around 10 to 15% of your overall grade. Okay. And again, all discussions are considered an assignment, so you'll have all week to complete that discussion post and to comment on your peer posts, your classmates' posts, until Monday, 8 a.m. the following week. Okay. All right. Late work and plagiarism is really important. Obviously, in a Brightspace classroom, I ask you guys to complete all of your written work in a Google document. And then you submit and upload that Google document to your Dropbox. And this is just so that you can stay organized. Actually, I tend to have a lot of students who need extra accommodations. And so having it in Google Docs means they can easily share it with me. And then also it's just easier for everyone to stay organized. But that being said, Brightspace also has a Turnitin tool, and it does make sure that you are not plagiarizing your work. Plagiarism is academic dishonesty, and if we are found, or if you are found, I should say, to have been cheating by copying work from a previous student from a previous class, which is very, very easy to see in Brightspace. It's a fantastic tool for that. It's an automatic 0, but then you are also going to be treated with academic dishonesty through the e-learning program. So that's not something that you want on your ticket, okay? So with that being said, late work is really, really important that you stay on top of your work in an e-learning class. And what you will find is that if you are submitting work late, then that's going to result in me contacting you directly to figure out what's happening. And then obviously the next step would be contacting your parents. If there is an extenuating circumstance where you require additional time to complete your work, what I ask students to do is ensure that they email me that request at least 48 hours in advance of the deadline. So if you know that all of your coursework is due Monday at 8 a.m., then my expectation would be that on Friday you are contacting me at the latest to ask for that extension, okay? The reason that I ask you this is because, number one, please don't assume that I don't have a life. On weekends, I do, and I am with my family. So it's not really fair to ask me for something like that on a Friday, excuse me, at 5 p.m., and then expect me to actually engage back with you and give you what you want. Also, you do have all week from the Sunday prior to get your act together. And if you haven't, then really that's on you. Okay, so really you should know in advance whether or not you're going to need more time. So, again, I understand extenuating circumstances can happen, so don't be shy to reach out to me and to connect. But if it is an ongoing issue, then we're going to have to look at things a lot more holistically. Okay. But otherwise, honestly, guys, this is pretty straightforward stuff. You're in grade 12 now. You know how this goes. You know how to be successful. E-learning is a bit different because you do have more flexibility in when you get things done and when you are engaging in your class. But that can actually be a problem for some students. And you really have to know yourself as a learner. And if you know that that is an issue for you, you're going to want to be proactive. Make sure that you have your agenda. Make sure you're on every day and that you're getting your stuff done. Don't be shy to reach out to me at all. That's what I'm here for. And I look forward to working with you on that. So that's really the expectations. And I just wanted to reinforce that now that we are into the end of our first week together. Okay. Now, a lot of what we'll do in this course is what we call business style reporting. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I have a tickle in my throat. A business style writing, and we do report style writings. We do a lot of case studies in this course, and case studies are really interesting because you're given a situation or a scenario that would be considered something that would be real life, and then you would have to apply the concepts that we've learned from the course to making a managerial or leadership decision based on that course or that case. And then you're going to prepare that in what we call a case report. So business style writing is actually very different from essay style writing or English style writing, which a lot of people really prefer. But there is method to the madness. So what I've done here, and I've included this under content as well into course introductory files, is how to write a business report. So this is something that you are going to have to go through. It's part of your task for today, is to go through this and really understand business writing conventions, and then obviously making sure that you ask me for clarification if you have any questions about that, okay? So I'm not going to go through this all with you just for sake of time, and also you are fully capable of reading as a grade 12 academic student. But you'll notice right off the top, when you're looking at this, a lot of business writing is all about formatting. So we've got a table of contents which follows the title page, and title page has very specific, name of the report, name of the student, and that. And then we have different things that we do within business writing is we include things like headings and subheadings, charts, bullet points, all kinds of different things that you need to ensure that you include that you might not otherwise include in an essay that you're used to writing in English class. So again, I'm not going to go through this because that would be the world's most boring video to watch, but this is part of what you need to do today is to read this. And I will know if you don't, because coming up, you have to write a report. And if you haven't done this reading, then that will be very obvious to me. Okay, so that's assigned for you today. Also assigned for you today is reviewing citations. Now in this course, excuse me, lovely. In this course, we use Chicago style citations. So there are 3 different major citations guides that we utilize in academics. So you've got MLA, APA, and Chicago. Now, most of you probably have dabbled in APA and MLA or MLA. Most English courses use APA. A lot of them sort of are quite similar in terms of the actual approach, but they just have a different way that you format. The idea with citations is that anytime you use anything from research, any content that you take that was not your knowledge, you took it from somebody else, you have to give them credit in your writing, or else it's just basically stealing somebody else's thought work and making it sound like it's your own, right? So it's cheating, it's plagiarism. You know this by grade 12. And I often find there's 2 camps with grade 12 students. You've got students who've taken it seriously in grade 11 and students who've been able to kind of get away with it because teachers sort of didn't really care that much. And now you really don't know what you're doing, or you tell yourself you don't, and you've got this major mental block. But the fact is, you have to do it. And I'm going to be expecting that you do it throughout this course, and you will definitely your marks will suffer if you don't. And not only that, your marks will suffer, but then you'll actually get to a point where I say, I'm not going to accept this because you're not using citations. So with that being said, what I know from teaching citations and for doing a master's myself and writing my own thesis is that citations, guys, are actually really easy. It's just annoying. It's not fun. And there's often students will get a mental block. It's kind of like how I was with math in high school. It's like, I can't do this. This is not fun. But that's not because I can't do it. It's because I have to try and work hard at something that I really hate doing. But citations are not that hard. It's just about getting over that learning curve. So a couple of things that I offer for students, because what I found is that often I'll have grade 12 students who know how to do citations, and I'm not going to create a lesson on how to do citations for students who already know how to do it. But I also have students that have no idea what they're doing. So if that's you, then I'd be really happy to sit with you or create a Google Meet and go over, say you've got an assignment next week and you have to do citations, but you don't know what you're doing. Then we will create a Google Meet together, and I'll kind of sit with you virtually and we'll go through the assignment together. And I generally find that I can teach this in under 10 minutes and students will go, oh, it's like that, so easy. Yes, it is. But sometimes you just need a teacher to sit with you one-on-one to do it. So I will offer that. So don't be shy to ask me for help for that, okay? Otherwise, I've included a bunch of resources here for you guys. My personal favorite citation guide is Owl Purdue. It's just a link online, and I just hyperlink it. I sort of favorite in my bookmarks on my computer. And it just breaks down source by source, like how do you create a proper citation using a website? How do you do a proper citation in Chicago using a book or a periodical? It's all there for you. There's also Citation Machine, which will help you format your citation. And then there's just different, obviously tools here that will help you with plagiarism. The point of this is you guys are all at different places with citations. Some of you feel really good doing APA, but you've never heard of Chicago before. Some of you have been taught to do citations, but neglected to learn it. And now you're in grade 12 and you're like, crap, this is not good. And some of you are just kind of cool with whatever, so be honest with yourself again. And then the next time you see that we've got an assignment where you do have to include citations, that's when you would reach out with me and we would try to figure out what your needs are based on your own individual story. But don't do this. Don't submit an assignment without citations and think you'll get away with it, because you won't. Okay, cool. So citations, spend some time working on that and check out all of the resources that I've included under course files and under content, because there's a lot of really great tools that will help you with understanding Chicago citations. And that's why I've given you all of today to figure that out. Yay, such an exciting day. You get to go through our course expectations and learn about citations. Woohoo! But it's important stuff. And once you get through it, then you can get on to the good stuff. Okay? So that's what we're working through today, you guys. Check that all out. Spend some honest time with yourself learning how to do Chicago citations and checking out the resources I've included on that under content. I hope you guys are hanging in there. One more day until Friday. And that's it for now. Have a great day, you guys, and I will see you online.